Hey guys, welcome to the stream. It's a first Tuesday of the month, so we should really take a look at what's free this month. So don't forget guys, get on the marketplace, download your free assets. I couldn't get these to actually come up in the browser earlier, so we'll try again to see what's available here. We've got the modular Gothic temple. Oh, and we're getting to see it this time apparently. We have mountains and stuff, grass and stuff, trees and stuff, and all sorts. So that looks okay if you're doing that type of thing and need that type of scenery. Next one is hospitality pack. Restaurant equipment, industrial kitchen supplies, everything you need for apparently a kitchen or a bakery or something like that. So could come in handy for some kind of cafe simulator or this type of thing, and with a few blood splattered things being decals for a zombie type game or something like that. Yeah, that type of thing. Toilets and tables and chairs. So yeah, that looks okay. And next we have, I've not had a look at these myself, we have stylized trucks. These look to be fairly simplified trucks, yeah, cartoony type trucks. So again, if you've got that type of style of game, it looks like this is a water tanker, like a rubbish truck, and like a transport truck. Some decals there. What was that back there a minute? Yeah, this is obviously the different. So you've got a truck and a secondary thing, water tank, container, and don't know what you call that actually, but get the picture. So yeah, it's okay. Thirdly, remember guys, it doesn't hurt to go and get them all. It doesn't matter if you're not using them in your game today, but you never know tomorrow. We have stylized nature, so we've got rocks, trees, water, plants. Yeah, quite nice. Again, very stylized, so if you're making that type of game, that would be good. And finally, we have a platformer stylized cube world. So I'm getting the feeling that this is like, yeah, so it looks like a kind of voxelized but not platformer cubey type thing. I think this would be a very niche market for this one, but again, you never know, it might get your creative juices flowing, and this is the very asset you've been waiting for. So these are obviously platforms that you jump on. Obviously you'll be able to jump on the cubes and whatever. So yeah, kind of works. And that is this month's free assets. Not any I'm going to use at the moment, but anyway, back to Groenland. Now, I have got some nice new animations and I have got some nice new assets to play with. So, I'll show you what a couple of these are and what they are like backgrounds and stuff in a Viking-y type way that's going to give us. So you'll see I've updated this scroll bar and I have updated the background on each of the inventory items to give us a bit of space in between each and a very much nicer layout. Okay, now our most interesting thing, which I know if Mr. Spock is watching, that I didn't hint at was that we got some new animations for the player. Right? So basically now you can do this. Now that isn't what you think it is, but you get the picture. And what we're going to do today, I think, is we're going to basically try and tie this all together, that when the brazier actually does something, then we actually, and there's the E button. Okay, now the interesting thing here is so that's doing that, right? Okay. So when we press E, right, in theory, what we should be able to do is if we get player pawn, play, actually we can get mesh. Oh, right, first thing we need to do here, this is the first steps of this, so we're going to cast it to BP demo player. Oopsie. We're going to play anim montage, and it's going to be this one. Right, and this we're going to delay. Then this is going to go in here. Now we are going to totally rearrange this whole thing, but in theory So basically what happened there is that's activating the particle system. So in actual fact, we want this to go in here, and we want this to go in here, and then we want this to go in here. Okay. And there you go. Pretty darn cool. Now, the interesting thing is, for this fire brazier, right, I'm going to open it up. And what I'm going to do is we're going to get our viewport, right? And we are going to add a collision box. We could actually do this with a cube with no material, but we can do it with like a box collision, right? And what we can do is just make sure that the player basically cannot come too close to it and fundamentally muck up our collision. Right, so if we'll do 96, 96. Apparently it was 95 I did. Okay, whatever. So we'll change this to 96, right? And in theory, if we look from the top, yeah, that's fine. Okay. And then we'll just say basically block all. Right. So we shouldn't be able to walk over the top or too close to this thing, right? As you can see, but we can. There we go. Beautiful. Right, so yeah, cool. Right, so let's have a look at some of our other beautiful little survival animations. Right, so we have amazingly long names for them. I think we should go about renaming them all, cause right, So we have generic movements, hammering, mortar and pestle, right, hammering on the floor, hammering on the wall, tanning leather. Some of these we won't use, but we just need a look. We've got the campfire, eating an apple, warming our hands, sitting cross legs, warming hands. Right, here we have a sleep. And I wonder, this is sleep enter. And this is sleep exit. Right? We have eaten meat. That's starting the fire. We also have a sticks rub. And this is the one I turned into an animation sequence. And that's a flint. And that's getting the flint, and that's the flint. I believe, yeah, that's with a lighter. Right? Right, so our next one is drinking. So she can kneel down and get a drink out the water. Then she can scoop it up. Then she can do it that way. She can fill up a canteen. And she can stand and drink with the canteen. Okie doke. Foraging, that's just basically picking stuff from a bush. Healing is tying a bandage, and tying a bandage standing, and bandage on the leg. Idle, this is running out of breath. We have a pickaxe. It's going to be low, and this is going to be kind of medium height. And our interesting one is going to be fishing. Right? And we have fishing end. That's going into fishing. And what else do we have? More fishing, primitive loop. We have what's supposedly a fishing nibble. And we have pull. Okay. We have skinning, which is basically with a knife cutting along. And we have spearfishing. we have basically the loop over having a look about to see what's worth fishing for. And we have tree chopping. I'm guessing that's exit. And that's chopping horizontally. That's the start, that's the normal, and that's the exit. And that's waiting to chop. And that's chopping down. Okay. Now I'm wondering if we have a get down and pick something up. I'll need to check that out. Right. So for you guys, what I've done here is allowed, well, we've done it two different ways. Right? Let me show you that. So in our brazier, we've just told it that if they activate it, now there might be other properties that need set before the character can do this, but I'll just move this into sort of the right position, so at least you've got an idea of what's going on here. So basically what I'm doing here is if you press E, we get the player pawn, we cast to the BP character demo, we play the anim montage, we delay for that amount of time, and then we do this. Now another way we could do it, and I've already set it up, is we can say is starting right, okay. So if we're going to do that, what we need to do is get anim instance from the mesh. Okay, and if we do that, we can say start okay, we need to do one more thing here. We need to cast it to ABP. I usually call it anim underscore BP, but anyway. Right, so what we can do here is say is starting fire. Right. We can loop that. Okay, so we basically grab that. And our problem for this one is going to be that we don't know when to activate this, right? But I'm just showing you a different way of doing it. And you'll notice here, if I go to the animation graph and movement, I've set this to be able to go in when it's starting a fire. Okay. So basically when we hit E this time, here our animation should repeat. Okay, but we're doing a different animation, but that's okay, right? What we could do, just as a is we could do, well, we can't do that actually. We don't start it with a lighter, remember. We're going to start it with a flint. So we're going to do that. Right. It's going good, bud. It's going good, Kiwi Mastermind. Right. So now you can see that she's doing her thing. And she's going to continue to try and light fires because at the moment there's no out gate. But that's showing you both ways of doing this. Right, but if we just plug this back in here, you will see right, so we press the button, she goes to start the fire. What was the fire? Fire started. Okay. Oh, we can do it here as well. There we go. We can pick up our sword, shield, plate. Okay. We can hit our inventory. We can look at our shield. Or we can look at our plate. Ignore that image just now. We can look at our sword. And from the point of view of our food, we can use it here. Right? Then we can exit, and as you can see, our food has went up. Right? Because all of them start at 50%. Right? Now, what I want to do in this instance is, I'll show you. I want to build the system where if you use either food or drink or whatever, right, we can pick this up or we can use it. Right? Now, if we use it, you'll see that it goes oh, that's inspect. Okay, so I've got the buttons wrong. Right. So let's sort that out, shall we? Right. So It's not in there actually, it's in here. Okay. And event drink, event eat, and that's not where we want it per se. It's actually in our interactable items. Right, and it's in our BP. Let's have a look at our BP food. And we need to have a look at our interactable items here, because this is where the issue is. So we have event use. Which is actually in our demo character. But it's not. Right, so we've got use item. Right, and it has to be in here, event use. Right, so I'm going to add the breakpoint, and I'm going to check our project settings to see what use item actually is. And it's the interact. Pick up, inspect. So it's interact is actually use. But that's not in there. So for some reason it was going into inspect and not. Right, so let's have a look at that again, right? So use is not I, it's R. So we got our thing and there it's disappeared. Okay, and our hunger has went up, right? But I don't want the hunger to jump up like that. Okay, what I want is for the radial bar to basically gradually go up, right? So, with that in mind, we need to do something with the U's, right? So in here, we basically go to the ref character. Okay, so that is basically here. And what we're doing is setting this. Okay, so this is actually pretty easy to do, because all I need to do is basically put in timeline, add a timeline, right? Right, we'll open this up. We'll make it 3 seconds. Add a float track. We'll call it percentage. Right, we'll add our key, and we shall add our second key. Then we shall set this to 0. We'll set this to 1. So that's going to be 3 and 1. We can minimize that down so we can see exactly what's going on. Save that. Go back to our event graph. And then we can lerp between this value actually we need to do that and duplicate that. Right, we'll plug it over there for now. We do that. We're going to put our thing there. We're going to play from start. We're going to update to here. Our return value is going to go here. Our alpha is going to be here. And that will go from there to there. Okay. I believe we are done. So if we try that, okay, so if we use it and resume, well, that kind of didn't work. So what happened there? Did I goof that up? No, 3 seconds. 3 seconds. That's fine. Percentage goes in there. Play from the start. Okay, let's add a breakpoint and see what the numbers are, shall we? Event use. So we can step over this. Right, so there we go. And that's going from 0.7. So those are both the same. Ah, okay. So the problem is that when we hit this event eat, our values have already been updated. Okay. So we can kind of do this in two different ways. Use item, and that's the value. Right, if we go to our demo eat, we add these. And what we want to know is what these two values are. They both say 0.7, but they shouldn't. Ah, wait a minute. Wait a minute. When it gets to here, we've already set this. Right. So basically what we're saying is we're getting this and we say value. Can we get that straight from here? Nah. Okay, that's fine. So what we do is we just get this value. Right, and we'll add a reroute node. And we basically get this. We take away this. Oops. And then this can go away. And this can go in here. Tidy that up a bit. And that should be better. Alright, so R, resume. Resume. Point, whatever. If we step over 0.5 to 0.7, that's exactly what we want. Disable that, and resume. And there we go. Right. So now to tidy this up a bit, we probably need something like that. And then we can drag that off. And that's a bit better. Yeah. That'll do us. We could do it kind of this way. It doesn't really matter. They're crisscrossing anyway, so. Right, and fundamentally we can do the same thing for this, for the drink. Right. Now I did. So delete that. So we call this TL_eat. We shall duplicate that and we'll call it TL_drink. Right. And we can basically do exactly the same thing here. I can drag that out to there. That goes in there. Goes in there. Goes in play from start. That goes in update. That's fine. That goes to there. we can duplicate that, bring it down here. That goes to A. And then this goes to there, except it doesn't. It goes to the bottom, and this goes to here. Then of course we can drag this off, plonk it there, drag that to there, and that is us. So that is eating and drinking done. Now we can change the timing on this to be faster, but let's have a look again, right? So press play. We can do this one, right? And that goes up. Then we can go and grab our mug of coffee, and that goes up. So that's cool, and that all works. So that's basically what I was hoping for. Jenna S. Hi. Is Unreal Engine hard? Well, that depends. It depends on how much experience you've got of any other type of engines, of any other type of coding, and whether or not you pick things up quickly. So it's a difficult question. You can't just answer it's easy or it's hard. It becomes easier as you get experience with it, that's for sure. But it is a very complicated subject. Right, so that's looking good. Right. We can disable that. We can use that, and our use that, and that goes up. Okay. Now the interesting thing here is we could set up a montage as the interactable item, right? Kinda. Yeah, we can. We can, because if we've got the item number from the data table, right, we can basically determine what type of thing it is that you're eating or drinking, right? I mean, we can obviously determine from the data table what they're drinking or eating, as two different things, but we can also determine what it is they're actually eating. So, like if it's something from a plate, you would obviously play one montage, and if it's yeah, I mean, I don't know very much about materials, and I don't know very much about animation. Um, you can specialize in those particular things, but you don't need to know everything about everything to basically be able to get something working. Right, so we've done that. Now, I'm really tempted to start on a main menu. I'm really, really tempted to start on a main menu. How about you guys? Are you tempted by me starting on a main menu? Because I have all these nice new shiny um, textures and buttons and GUI parts and all sorts. I've got all this lovely stuff. Like this, for example. And things like that. Well, that's a hotbar, so I'm not going to use that. But anyway, not the point. I've got all this lovely stuff. And for some reason I just managed to close down my texty thing. Right, sorry about that. Right, so we've got all these lovely new whiz bang woofery UI items, right? And I'm gagging to use them. Right, so you've got like loads of different types of buttons and stuff. So like I don't know if I'm motivated to use them. I'm just gagging to just use them because they're new and shiny, and we like new and shiny things, right? What's that? Oh, that's a new and shiny thing. Right, so what's this one? That's kind of slightly different, I suppose. And that's the background for those things there. Do you think we should do that? Do you think we should do... Or... Right, I'll tell you what, you guys. You guys think of something that you want to see me working on, right? I'll go and have a cigarette, and when I come back you can let me know. Not necessarily on the... what do you call it? Not necessarily on the main menu, but I could also work on the inventory, right? Because we have made slight changes to our inventory. Right? Now, I'll show you how that's looking. So that's now looking like that. Right, so you can have a look at items and then you can use them. Actually, I need to do the drop thing, right? But anyway, so you can look at swords, You can look at basically the things you've picked up. Alright. Then you can basically select the type of thing, etc. Obviously we've got our slidey bar, right? Now the reason it's got so many in it is just to test it, right? But it is a Viking survival game. Okay? We are doing Viking survival, hence the fact that you've got hunger, energy, water, and temperature. Okay? So, like, if you start a brazier, right, the temperature changes, right? If you, the thing I was working on earlier, if you, for example, eat, your hunger goes, the amount of hunger goes up. Maybe I should do that the other way around. Right? Maybe I should do this going from 1 to 0 rather than 0 to 1. Interesting. But yeah. So you're going to be able to like fish and hunt and like pick up stuff and eat it and drink it, and you're going to have to sleep. There's going to be a night cycle, a bit of both. There's going to be a narrative, but it's not going to affect gameplay. So your gameplay is not going to be like you're not going to have to do certain parts of the story to do certain things in the game, right? So like a certain part of the story is not going to unlock a skill, let's say, right? So I'm going to leave you guys for 2 minutes. I shall be right back. If you're enjoying the stream, hit like and subscribe. I shall be right back. Check out the description for links. Alright, we're back. If anybody has any ideas, let me know. And we shall take a look at it for you. If you've got any problems or whatever with Unreal Engine, also we can do that. Have a look at that. Right, so I'm guessing I really want to do a couple of things with the inventory. Right? So these buttons here we can now actually use the buttons from this pack, basically. Right, so if we go to the inventory, wherever it is, close that down. Minimize that down, and inventory, go to main inventory, right, and we look at this button here. Right, we can look at this button and we can use something from our flashy new buttons. And that's not what we want. We actually want our GUI parts. So we can use that or that. Right. Now that should be that. But it doesn't look like that. Okay, whatever. We'll copy that, right? And we'll drop it in, duplicate in here. Right, and we'll draw it as image. And we'll draw this as image. And we'll have a look to see our text use is not going to be black now. We could actually do it from there. Right? Then we could copy that and put it in there. Right? And if we gradually change this up, yep, that's looking okay actually. Okay, I'm saying that's looking okay. Now, round about this thing, we could also put a border, right? Well, it is a working inventory, it does work. The drop doesn't work, the use does, the rest of it does. Right, the reason it's got loads of stuff in it is because I need to test, I was testing it for the scroll bar. Right. Now, we've got our image here. And we could wrap it with a border. Then our border we can use like this thing. Or is that a bit much, guys? What do you think? We need something with a edge on it, I believe. Yeah, don't be cheeky, Kiwi Mastermind. You think I would do... You think I would do it, yeah, that looks like a barry type thing, doesn't it? Right, let's see. This is more like what we want. Except, no. We don't really want it at that resolution. Right, because that is some crazy resolution right there. 4096. Probably. See, that's higher rather than... That's not a square one. Neither is that. Right, those kinda aren't straight. Bar back, that's not what we want. I mean, we could do a button. It's not going to be button long. Alright. It's going to be a square button. So it's like, where are the square buttons here? That's got a thing on the top. Yeah, it's kind of like a... not too keen on that. Right, I'll blue that. Right, what about that? Do we like that? Or we could have that, which is exactly the same, just a slightly different. We could have that. No, I'm not so keen on that. This is I'm kinda liking this one. Or this one, which is basically the same. One's 256, one's 512. I'll go with 512 because this thing is 512. So basically, if I go inventory, then click on that, right? Then if we do something with the item, yeah, I'm thinking it looks nice and plain and simple, really, you know. So we can do a drop, right? Basically, the drop is going to be very, very similar to the use, because when you use it, you actually drop it, right? In the end. So if I do that, right, the drop part is basically this part here, right? So if I say button trash and basically not do that, right, because I'm completely forgetting how this works. If I do that, okay, and the only thing I need is this thing here, right? I can do this in a couple of ways. I think we'll do this here, right? And then I basically do that, grab this, drag all these to here, drag that to there, drag that up, right? Save that. Now you should be able to drop, right? So if I go inventory, click on that and drop, and it's doing jack shit. Well, I don't actually know if it's doing jack shit or not, but we can check, because all I need to do is put that in there, save that, press play, pick up a couple of these things, hit inventory, hit that, drop. Well, that didn't work. So let's have a look at the code. Oh, I didn't plug that in. Right. Let's try that again, shall we? Helps to plug in the nodes. So Right, inventory, click on that. So shield, drop, one shield is gone, click on that, drop. As you can see, works perfectly. Okie dokie. We do need to clear this out though. Right. But that's easy enough to do, I believe, because all we need to do is clear is basically set the current item or clear it. Now I think that our vertical box starts off being invisible, and if that's the case we can just turn it invisible again. Right, so that's this one here starts off as hidden, and it only gets shown once you do something with it. So all I actually need to do here is get our VB inspection and basically hide it. Set visible to hidden. And I believe the code, when you click on an item, will bring it up again with the obviously the new item in it. So if we hit I, okay, we've got our sword, we can drop it, and this isn't bringing it back up again, I'm afraid. So there's something whatever it is in our inventory slots. Right, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Okay. So there's something in our inventory that in the slots that makes it visible, but So this is it here. Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this straight into here, right? And then in update details, I'm going to get BB inspection. I'm going to set it to visible. Right? Now let's test this, shall we? Right. So if I go inventory, nothing shows. Click on that, that's fine. Click on that, that's fine. Click on that, that's fine. If we drop, it goes away. Click on that, it's back. Click on you, no we can't use that, right, we can't use that either at the moment, so we're actually, we actually need to do this in the use. Now this is going to be slightly different. Right? This one is going to be slightly different. Or we may have to add a new button called drop all, right? But in the short term, let's do this again. So fundamentally it's working, and if we use this, that's fine. Okay. So that works fine. Right? Now, if you click on one of these, I'm not 100% sure whether we reset this again. Probably. It would make sense, I suppose. Right, so if we go to inventory slots, right, this is in main in actual fact, isn't it? Right, so in here again, if we want to do this, we hide it again. Right, and this is all the little fun little just housekeeping stuff that needs to be done when you're doing menus and widgets and stuff. Not exactly thrilling, but it needs done. Right, so basically what we want is I go on the premise that my menu should do exactly what the player would expect. Right, so if I click on food, right, I'm guessing that's how I would expect this to work, right? So, yeah. Now, there is something we need to do with this. And I've been not avoiding it, but not exactly getting it straight on. So, in here, when we do our interactable items, we actually need a couple of things, right? We need a variable, now is it going to add the variable? I don't know. Seems to be having a problem with it. Oh. Right, so inspection transform. Okay, Kiwi Mastermind, thanks for hanging about and popping in chat. Right. We're going to use this because not all items we want at the same relative position. Okay, now by that I mean the likes of this coffee cup, right? This coffee cup here, when we view it, right, it's tiny. Okay, so what we really want to do is use these transforms so that when we view it we can manipulate the size and the rotation to give us something consistent, right? Because if the meshes themselves are brought in, the pivot's slightly off or something like that, then it could be a problem. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to stop that for now. And we have our inspection blueprint. Okay. And we have our object mesh. Okay. Now we're having our mesh there, right? But what we actually want to do is add variables and call it mesh transform. Okay, and that is going to be a transform, obviously. It's going to be instance editable and it's going to be expose on spawn, right? So when we go back to our inventory slot, and it spawns this, right? We can refresh the nodes. We can undo that. Right, and we get our mesh transform. And now we get our inspection transform. And we plug it in. Okay. We can hide these. This is update mesh, and update mesh is also going to have that, right? But we'll work on the spawn first. But yeah. So what we're going to do for our object mesh, on begin play, right? We'll do it the simple way first. Okay. We'll break this. In fact, no, we won't. Right, we'll drag this in. We'll split that. We'll plug in the scale. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll go here. We'll go to our mug. We'll get this. And we'll say 5. Okay. So now, if we go to here, and we go to our inventory and click on our mug is much bigger, right? But the problem is that that mug isn't a great example. Okay, so probably we only wanted it on about 3. we may as well go the full hog here, and if we get the sword and we'll do the rotation of 90. We save that. And we go here. We can do set world transform, delete that, recombine these pins, and do that. And now if we pick up this sword, go to here, well, that didn't work. Ah, okay, we don't want it to do location. In fact, we probably just want relative. Set relative transform. Right. And there we go. Right, we can press play again. We can do that. We can do that. Press I. Our shield needs rotated 90. And that needs rotated on the X. Okay. So if we go back to here, and we get the shield needs rotated on the on the Z, and the food one needs rotated, I believe. Let's say that one. What we could do is do that. Go to here. It actually needs rotated on the Y. Right. So that goes back to 0. That goes to 45. And we could do that to 2. Save that. plate. So sword, shield, plate. Aye. Sword is good. Shield is good. Plate, not so good. Plate, not so good. Okay. Well. Seems a way to do this, come to think of it. If I click on this, BP food. Right. So it is 45 on the Y. Save that. There we go. So now we have a system where we can basically get the best starting viewing position and scale, etc. for our objects in the window. So it doesn't matter if the window is big or small or whatever. And that's a quiver over there. Right. Ah, I must have. Okay, whatever. Right. And I think we shall leave that there for tonight. If you've enjoyed the stream, hit like and subscribe, very much helps. Check the description for links to my Discord and also ways to support the game and the channel through Patreon or my previous game on Steam. Even just adding that to your wish list would help out. Thank you guys for watching, and I shall see you all soon. Bye bye for now.